Okay. I said external styling, right? But we haven't done it. Now what I will do, I'll just paste all these CSS, okay, inside and sample1.css, okay. And you can still see it, the website will be similar, okay. Any doubts, anyone? What is external styling? Dinesh?
External styling means we save all the CSS in the form of link and attach to HTML.
We'll be creating one CSS file externally. We will be writing all our styles. We will be attaching that CSS file to our HTML file.
HTML.
Link. Okay, link with href. Any doubts, anyone? And you might be wondering, suppose there is one h1 tag, okay, and you have written some external styling as well as some internal styling as well as some inline styling. Now which style will be applied? You will have the doubt, right? Suppose you have given the color as I will do it right here, okay. What I will do, I'll just give the tag h1, okay, and here I'll give the color as red, okay, in the external styling, okay. Now I will give the same thing in the internal styling as well, okay, but with a different color, for example, blue, okay. Now I will apply one more internal styling for this h1 tag, okay. I'll just give style and I will give the color as green. Now can someone tell me which style might have been applied, which color might have been applied for this h1 tag?
Blue.
Just a guess. Which color?
Blue. Blue.
Okay. 1 second, give me just 1 second. Hello, yeah. So the styling first applies to inline styling. First, the precedence is given for inline styling, then to the internal styling, and then to the external styling. Okay, now let us just load this. You can see first the green color, right? Suppose if I remove this inline styling, now what color will be applied? Now what color will be
Blue.
now blue?
External styling blue color.
No, internal styling blue color.
But
let me just remove it. Okay. Now internal styling blue color will be given. Okay. Now even if you remove this internal styling, you know, now the external styling will be applied. Able to understand? First, the preference is given to inline styling, then to the internal styling, and then to the external styling. Okay. Any doubt in this?
no.
Now we will talk about JavaScript. Okay, we will just hold the CSS for time being. Okay, and from tomorrow I will take 45 minutes for JavaScript and 15 minutes for CSS. We will learn the CSS slow by slowly because we have time and you people have to understand. But JavaScript has to be very clear and very clear cut in the concepts, which you need to pay a lot of attention. Okay. Now, just we will concentrate on the JavaScript and learn it. We'll give 15 minutes for CSS every day. Okay. We'll just start with the JS. Okay. Suppose if you want to create any file for JS, what extension you will give?
.js.
Yeah. .js. Okay. Sample1.js. Suppose the first thing what I will tell, you know, console log. If you want to print something and see, you will just do something called console log. Okay, you can just give anything like Anusha, which means that now you will be able to see Anusha value in the console. Suppose if you want to link this JS to our HTML page, you know what you need to do? You need to use one tag called script tag. Okay, and you will be giving some attribute called SRE. And what is the name of the file you have created for JS?
Sample1.js.
Sample1.js.
One.js.
Now what you can see, this JS file has been linked to this HTML page. Okay, and JavaScript is basically used for adding the dynamic behavior to your HTML. Okay, and let me just reload it. So whatever console logs you are seeing, right, you will be able to see here. Okay, these are called developers tools, which are used for the debugging purpose. Okay, you can just open it by pressing on this three icon. You know, you have something called more tools and you have something called developers tools. Suppose if you want to check any information, you know, you will be writing something called console log and displaying some information which you want to know. You can see they are not getting displayed in the web page. So these are JS is basically the logic part. Okay, console log is used for just doing some consoling, seeing something in the browser, in the console. Any doubt till now? Which tag is used to link the JS file to the HTML file?
Script.
Now I'll tell you what JavaScript is basically. Okay. JavaScript is a synchronous single. అమ్మా ఈ డోర్ అన్న వేసుకో, గట్టిగా అరవకుండా. It's called as a synchronous single threaded language. Okay, which means that it will execute the code line by line. First the line number 1 is executed, then the line number 2 is executed, then line number 3 is executed, and line number 4 is executed. Okay, synchronous single thread. Synchronous meanings executing the code line by line is called synchronous. Okay, so JavaScript is known as synchronous single threaded language. Okay, and this is known as comments in JavaScript. Comments is nothing but this piece of code will not get executed. You are correct, right? Correct, right? Comments are used for not for the execution purpose, right? These piece of code will not be executed by the browser. I told about comments in HTML also, right? What is this?
Comment means that was not
Yeah, what is this?
for CSS.
Comment, like JS comment, it's a double slash. Okay. Now we will talk about different kinds of things involved in the JavaScript. Okay, we have something called variables in JavaScript. Meaning, variables means these are used for holding some data. So basically, variables we will be creating to hold some data. Okay, or these are also known as containers for data. Okay, for example, if you want to create any variable, you can use some 3 keywords. Okay, they are called as var, let, and const. These 3 keywords are used for declaring a variable. Variables means, for example, you can give var x. Okay, var y. So what is the variable here?
Where
X is the variable here. To tell that it is a variable, we are using a keyword called var. Okay, what is the variable here?
Why?
Okay. What is the variable here?
Name.
Okay, so these are the variables. So these variables are used for which purpose?
To
Will-
hold some data.
Holding some data. So in mathematics, you will know, right? X equal to 5, y equal to 6, we will be having, right? So if x, what is this thing is called equal to, right? It is called assignment operator, which means that 5 value is assigned to x. Okay, 6 value is assigned to y. That is the meaning. Okay, like in the mathematics, we also have variables. Okay, and we can assign some values to it. Okay. What is the type of x means what you will tell? What is the type of x means what you will tell? What is this 5?
Value of x.
Value of x. In other terms, what is this basically? What is the type? It's a type of number, right? It's a number, right? So there are different types of data types available. Okay. So data types have been divided into 2 types. Okay. Data types. Those are called primitive data types. Okay. Data types and non-primitive data types. Okay. Primitive data types meaning numbers. Okay. Numbers, string, Boolean. Okay. These are called as primitive data types. Non-primitive data types means, okay, just remember for time being, and I'll explain them in the later what is what and what. Non-primitive data type means arrays and objects. How many types of data types are there in JavaScript? 2 types. Those are
2
primitive.
types.
What are they?
Primitive and
Primitive.
Primitive data types and non-primitive data types.
Non-primitive data types.
Tell me the primitive data types.
numbers and
Numbers, string,
Boolean. Okay. Non-primitive data types means arrays and objects. So you understood what is the meaning of number, right? 5 is a number. Am I correct?
yes, ma'am.
Suppose if you want to know explicitly what is the type of your variable, right? Then you can use something called type of in JS. Okay, you will use something called type of X. Okay, you can give some comma and you can give some text to know this value is for this thing. Okay, X type is provided here. Okay, now if you just check, you can see number, right? Am I correct or not? Okay, so when you will say it's a string means anything if you give in single quotations or double quotations, it is known as string. Okay, anything which you will give in single quotations or double quotations is known as a string. Okay, now what is this? What is the type of X?
string.
String. Okay, now you can see string. Okay, suppose if I give like this, then what is the data type?
Number.
Number.
No, what I said,
String.
anything in quotations is called as a string. So 5 is in quotation, so which means that it's a string. Anything in quotations is called as a string. Okay, if you are not giving the quotation, then it will be a number. Understood?
Yes.
Now what is the data type?
String.
String. Now what is the data type?
String.
String.
Now what is the data type?
String.
String.
Anything in the quotations is known as a string. Okay, so this is the string. Boolean means no, true and false. Okay, Boolean means true and false. Okay, If you give var x equal to true, the type will be what?
Boolean.
Okay. Suppose if I give it as false, then
Boolean.
Boolean.
Boolean. Okay. So these are called primitive data types. Okay. We will just first understand these primitive data types and then we will jump to the higher. Okay. Now, so how this JavaScript executes, even before one line of code got executed, memory will be created for all the variables and functions. Ignore about the functions for time being. Okay, even before a single line of code got executed, the memory will be allocated for all the variables in the screen, and it will be provided with some default value called undefined. Okay, how can so I will show you like how it will execute. Okay, let me just go to sources. If you can see, I have in this file, and this this line is for keeping a debugger so that it will stop here while reloading the application. Okay, now whenever this code is executed, you see something called scope right here.
Yeah.
Able to see.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
in this one object it will be called window object. Whenever any JavaScript code is getting executed, one object will be created, and whatever variables and functions we have created, those will get attached to this global object. Okay, now what are the variables here? What are the variables present in this sample.js file?
Var.
XY.
X,
Var.
just you can tell the variable name. No need to tell var x. Var is the keyword defining that you have created a variable. That's it. What are the variables here?
5 on. 5.
X. 5 is the value. I'm
Okay.
talking about what are the variable names. This 5
Yes.
value is used for the assignment. Okay. X, then
Y.
Y, then
Name.
Name.
name. Anything if you have used a keyword var or let or const, those are called as variables. Okay, any doubt? Now
No.
you can see not even one single line of code got executed, and you can see some memory space has been created for these variables. Let me just show them. Can you see the name? This is not the one. Let me wait. I'll give name. Okay, and let me just reload it. You can see NAM, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Even before a single piece of line got executed, okay, you can see memory space has been created and assigned a default value called undefined. Okay, you can see the name has a value of undefined. Okay, then what are the other variables x and y, right? So these will be in alphabetical order. You see, sorry. 1 second, what happened? You can see this x, right? X, and what is the value assigned? Default value?
Undefined.
Undefined.
And what is the default value?
Undefined.
So there is something called execution context in JavaScript. Okay, let me write some diagram. So whenever any JavaScript code is getting executed, one execution context will be getting created. Okay, one execution context will get created. Okay, that execution context will be like this. Okay, one box. Okay, and it has two phases in that. One is memory phase. Okay, one is code of execution phase. Okay, and even before a single line of code got executed, okay, all the variables and functions will be allocated memory in the memory space. Now what happened, we have one variable called x, and it is assigned with default value. What is the default value?
Undefined.
Undefined. Okay, some default value undefined will be allocated, and there is one more variable called y, and a default value undefined is given. Okay, and there is also one more variable name. Okay, and the default value undefined will be allocated. So the memory phase is used for allocating memory for variables and functions, and a default value undefined will be allocated. Okay, what is the code of execution phase is, line by line the code will start executing. Okay, suppose if I just do next, right? Now you can see line number 1 got executed and it will print Anusha. Okay, let me just clear everything and reload it and show you. Now you can see not even one piece of line code got executed. Okay, let me just move it to next line. You can see Anusha got printed in the console or not.
So,
Yes. Now what happened? It came to the 15th line, and you can see what is happening here. What is the statement meaning?
it's like variable x is equal to 5.
Variable x got created already. Okay, memory space has been created. Now what is this meaning of this x equal to 5? What is the meaning of this?
It's a value of x number.
We are assigning value 5 to the x. Am I correct? Now what will happen, the value undefined. Okay, the value undefined, it reached to the first line and some code is executed. It reached to the 15th line and it just checked where x equal to 5, which means that this undefined will be replaced with 5. Okay, let me just show you here. You can see the default value of x here, right? You can see undefined, right? Now just you can see it, this line has finished executing. Okay, now this undefined value will get replaced with value 5. Okay, let me just show. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then it reached to the line number 17. It is printing type of x. What is the type of x?
Type x number.
Number, and this is string, just appending some text in the console. Okay, let me just move to next line. So this line will be printed in the console. Now what will happen? What is the meaning of this line?
Y value is equal to 6.
Now what will happen?
Undefined will become into 6.
Yes, now y, where y equal to 6 line will get executed and y will be replaced with value 6. Okay, now what will happen? Where num is there, are we assigning any value to name?
No,
Yeah, it will. And whenever there is no code executed, right, it will stop finishing the code execution. Any doubts, anyone till now?
no.
Now tell me, what will be printed in this console log? Now what will be printed in the console log?
X value.
X value. What is that x value?
X plus 5.
Now tell me, what will be printed now in the console?
5.
Yes, 5 will be printed. What you are doing it, you are just printing the value of it. Okay. You can see 5. Suppose if I keep this statement before, now what will be printed?
Undefined.
Correct. Very good. Why? Because this is because of execution context. Am I correct? This line has not executed and the value undefined was initially set, and this line is line number 15, right? So it's undefined. At line number 17 only we are assigning value 5 to the x. At line number 5 it will print what value?
Undefined. Line number 15.
19. 19.
19 will print x in 5.
5. Okay. It will print 5. So basically giving comma and giving something, some string, right? This is for our understanding purpose. Okay. Because the x here is different value. The same x value will be different here. For understanding purpose, we will give some context here. It's your wish to write or not. Okay. You are understanding, right? Till now? Any doubts? Any
No.
doubts till now?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And suppose I have created one more variable y. Now what I will do, I will give var z, okay, equal to x plus y. Now what will be the value of z? Console.log of z. Now what will be printed in the console?
11.
11. Okay. This is because of what symbol you are telling? This is because of plus sign. Am I correct? This plus sign will do two functions in the JavaScript. Okay. One is for summation. Okay. Summation. And one is for concatenation. Okay. Concatenation means adding of the strings or adding of number plus string or string plus number is known as concatenation. Now tell me, var s equal to, okay, let me repeat the same thing. Okay, I have 5 here and I have Anusha here. Okay, what I am doing, I am doing just console.log of x plus y. Now what will be printed in the set?
5 and Anusha.
Like how it
And-
will be printed? You mean to say, can you tell what will be printed?
and
Yeah.
5 Anusha.
5 Anusha. And what will be the type of this?
It's number plus
Number plus string. So outcome will be only one thing, right? What will be the type of that? It will be always string. When you are adding number plus number, then only you will get a number. Okay. If you are adding number with anything, which means that it will be a string. If you are adding a number plus string, it will be a string. Okay. Let me just show you. Understood, right? 5
Yes.
Anusha. Okay. Now tell me, let me give Anusha here. Okay. Now let me give 5 here. Now what will be printed in the set?
Anusha 5.
Anusha 5. Very good. Why? Because the addition will follow this from left to right. Okay. From left to right. Now I have one more variable. Okay. For example, let me name it as result. Okay. And let me create one more variable z, and let me have one more z value. Okay. And let me give the result x plus y plus z. Okay. Now, what will be my output?
Anusha 11.
Oh, Anusha 11. Any other guess? What I said? addition will happen from left to right. Am I correct? Now, first, what is the value of x?
5.
X, what is the value of x?
Anusha.
String.
Okay. Then what is the value of y?
5.
5.
5. What will be its output? What will be the output? Anusha plus 5?
Anusha 5.
It will be a string and it will give me
Okay.
Anusha 5. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now what you are doing to this, what you are adding? Z. What is the value of Z?
6.
6. Now what will be the output? What is this?
Anusha string on Anusha 5
Anusha 5 then?
plus 6.
So what will be
Anusha
the output? Yeah, Dinesh. What will be
Anusha
the
11.
why it will be Anusha 11? Is this a number? Is 5 is a number?
String.
No,
Okay.
right? What is this? It's a string. So if you are
4 plus
adding
6.
thing,
Anusha 5.
it will be Anusha 5, 6. Okay. Any doubt in this? You understood, right? A string plus number will always give you a string. A number plus string always gives you a string. Okay. In whatever format you do. Now tell me, if I give y plus z, okay, z plus x. Now what will be the value of result?
56. 56 Anusha.
Dinesh, you are doing it very wrongly. Tell me
11 Anusha.
11 Anusha.
what I said, it will happen from left to right. Am I correct? What is the value of y?
5.
5. Plus, what is the value of z?
6.
6.
Now, what will be its output?
11.
11. Now, what is the value of x?
Anusha.
Now, what will be the result?
11
11.
Anusha.
Understood? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No.
Okay. Now, let me do some more examples, okay? Now, var x equal to 2, okay? And var y equal to Anu, okay? Now, var z equal to 3, okay? Now, var result equal to x plus y plus z, okay? Now, tell me what will be the value of result?
Two, 4, 3.
What? 2?
Anu.
2 Anu 3. Very good.
3.
How it will happen? You will first take 2. 2 you will add with Anu. It will be 2 Anu string plus 3 you are doing. It will be 2 Anu 3. Okay. Now x plus, okay, x plus z plus y. Now what will be the value of result?
5 Anu.
5 Anu.
Very good. Now tell me y plus x plus z. Now what will be the value?
Anu 2, 3.
Yeah, very good. So this is how we will do concatenation, and the JavaScript itself explicitly converts the type to string. This is known as implicit conversion. Okay. implicit conversion, because JavaScript itself at runtime decides the type of these things to be a string, because we are adding a number plus string, right? Then it will be a string. Okay, this is known as implicit conversion in JavaScript. Okay, and explicit conversion means if you want to convert some data explicitly, then you will say it as an explicit conversion. For example, you have var num equal to, what is this? What is the data type of X?
String.
String. Suppose if you want to convert it to a number, now what you will do, you will explicitly use a method called number, and you will assign it, and you will just convert it. Okay, now you are manually changing the type of your variable, right? That is called as explicit conversion. Okay, if we are using any functions and changing the value of a functions, right, then that is known as explicit conversion. Any doubts, anyone? Any doubt? Okay. Yeah, same. You are changing the explicitly. Okay. Now I have also told about a type of operator. Now let me talk about let and const. Okay. I said whenever a variable is declared with the keyword var, what happens, they will be uh, to which object they will be getting attached. You can see some scope, and they will be getting attached to window scope. Okay, am I correct? Window object they are getting attached, right? I have shown you this object, window object. Okay, and you can say it's a global scope. Okay, now scope means the way of accessing whether you can access that particular variable or not in that place. Okay, that is known as scope. Okay, suppose if you are creating any keyword with let me, for example, let x equal to 2. Okay, they will be allocated a different memory location. Okay, let me just rerun this. You can see there is something called script, right? And you can see it is getting attached and assigned with the value x with what value?
Undefined.
Undefined.
Now, let me tell you something. If I do a console.log of x, now what will be printed in the console log?
5.
Sorry? What is the
If
value?
variable value here 2.
2. Suppose if I give the same statement above, now what will be printed?
5.
Why 5?
This variable that is
What will be printed now?
on 17th line it will be 5, and 21st line it will be undefined.
Why 5, Dinesh? Did I assign it anywhere? I have not assigned anything called 5. Why are you telling 5? Any reason?
Previously used.
No, I just commented that all the code, no?
Okay.
It's new assignment, right? I have just removed all the piece of code. Now just tell me freshly. Now what will be at line number 17?
Undefined.
So it will give you an error in case of let. Okay, you cannot access any variable. Okay. You are saying that cannot access X before initialization. Which is the meaning is that whenever you are declaring any const variables or let variables, they will be allocated a different memory space. Okay, and if you are trying to access the variables even before you are initializing them, you cannot access them. They will be in a phase called temporal dead zone, which meaning is that you cannot access any variable in the temporal dead zone. Whenever you initialize some value to it, right, then only you can access this variable. For example, if you are doing like this, it's perfectly fine. What will be printed in the line number 21?
Not
Sorry,
undefined one.
undefined.
Undefined.
Okay, but you cannot access any variable before you are declaring them. Okay, especially for let and const. They will be in a phase called temporal dead zone. Until they were initialized and declared some value, you cannot access them. That is the difference between the var and let. So this concept is known as hoisting, they will say. They will explain you, they will ask you in the interviews what is hoisting. You need to tell like, we have created one variable X, and you even before a single line of code got executed, some memory location will get created for the variables, and it will be allocated with a special value called undefined, and you can access that value of X even before you are declaring it. This is perfectly fine in case of var, but if you are using let and const, they will be allocated a different memory location. And if you are trying to access those variables even before you are initializing and declaring them, you will get an error stating the reference error, because they are in a phase called temporal dead zone. Any doubts, anyone?
No.
Okay, this is the difference between var and let. Okay, you can just create a variable like this. But in case of const, okay, if you are declaring any variable, okay, you need to give its value here itself. Otherwise, it will give an error, and you cannot change the value of X. You cannot again reassign the value. For example, let me just tell you the difference. Var X equal to 5. Okay. And console.log of X. Okay. Now let me give X equal to 7 and console.log of X. Now tell me what is printed at line number 21?
5.
5. Okay. Now what is printed at line number 25?
7.
7. Because we are reassigning the value. Am I correct?
So,
Yes, ma'am.
Now I will create I will declare it with let variable. Okay. Now what will be printed at line number 21?
5 only.
Sorry,
5.
5. What is printed at line number 25?
And not 7.
7. Okay. Now what will be printed at line number 21?
Nothing now is give error.
Undefined.
Undefined, right? If you are trying to access it even before you are declaring them, you will get an error for let and const. Okay, but you have declared it and you are accessing it, right? Declaration was done at line number 19 itself. You are accessing at line number 21. Now what will be there? What will be printed? Undefined.
Undefined.
Now what will be printed at line number 25?
7.
7. Now, if you are declaring any variable with const, right, you can see the error directly here itself, some red mark, right? And you can see const declarations must be initialized, which means that you need to provide some default value. Okay, now let me give it 5. What will be printed at line number 21?
5.
And what will be printed at line number 27?
5 only. 7.
You can, this line itself will give you an error. We cannot reassign a value. Assignment to a constant variable. Const means it's always constant throughout the file. We cannot change its value. Understood, right? That is the difference between let, const, and var. Now tell me, which thing is used for printing some content in the console? Which statement is used for printing some content in the console?
Log.
Console.log, you should say. Okay. Which statement is used for printing some data in the console? Tell now.
Console.log.
Console.log. What are variables? What are variables? Teja?
Where?
No, that is a keyword for where. What are variables basically? What they are used for?
Hold some tool they used to hold some data.
They are used for storing some data. Am I correct? So what is this 5? What is this 6? What is the strings and all? They are some data, right? So basically they are used for storing some data. What are variables?
They are used to hold storing
Hold,
of data.
hold some data.
Okay. How to declare a variable?
By using where we are.
With how many types we can declare, we can create a variable?
Two.
In
types.
how many times? No, I said 3 types, right?
Can I where latent?
Where?
Yeah, in how many ways you can create a variable? 3 types.
3 ways.
What are they? Var,
Let
Let.
and con.
let and const. Okay. Suppose if you are creating a var variable where it is getting attached to window object, right? I just showed you in the scope, right? I ran the code and showed you, right?
Yes, yes.
And whenever what is execution context?
Used to run the code.
Whenever any JavaScript code is getting executed, an execution context will be created. It contains 2 phases. What are those? Memory phase and code of execution phase. Even before a single line of code got executed, variables and functions were created in the memory space and assigned with a special value called undefined in case of variables. In the code of execution phase, line by line we are executing the code and we will be replacing undefined with the values assigned. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me, what is execution context?
Context. To initiate a code.
What I said, whenever we are running any JavaScript file, what context will be created? Whenever any JavaScript file is getting executed, means which is running, what will happen? An execution context will be created. Am I correct? What are the 2 phases?
Executive phase and
Memory.
memory.
Memory phase and code of execution
Code
phase. What are the 2 phases?
Memory
phase
phase and code of execution.
What will happen in memory phase?
Before execution only they will get some values and
Even before executing a single line of code, okay, even before a single line of code got executed, all the variables and functions were created in memory space and assigned with a default value undefined. Okay, now what is the memory phase?
even before executing a single line, some
For what we will be using that memory phase?
variables and functions.
Okay. Which value will be assigned for variables?
Undefined.
A default value undefined is assigned for the variables. Okay, just understand the concept. You think like there is one JS file. Whenever we are executing that JS file, one execution context will be created. In that execution context, there will be 2 phases. Okay, one is the memory phase and one is the code of execution phase. In memory space, what will happen? Even before a single line of code got executed, so all the variables and functions were allocated memory space, and variables were assigned with a default value called undefined. In code of execution phase, line by line code is getting executed, and we will assign some values for our variables. Okay, now tell me what is execution context.
Execution context.
Yeah, try Dinesh. Just try. What I said, what is execution context? Just imagine you have written some JS file. Just imagine what you are doing.
To execute a single line of code,
Okay,
two phases are created. Before
okay,
one is memory
Memory
phase,
and code of execution.
okay.
in memory phase, even before the execution, like variables and let are defined with some values.
Variables will be allocated.
With the undefined value.
With a
Variables will
default,
be allocated with some. Sorry.
default value called undefined.
Yeah, variables were created, allocated some memory space and assigned with default value undefined. Okay. In code of execution, what will happen?
We have to change the
So,
value.
step by step.
Line by line, the code of the JS code will start executing.
Execute.
Any doubt? I'll repeat it once more. Okay. Whenever any JavaScript file is executing, an execution context will be created, and it has two phases. One is the memory phase and another one is the code of execution phase. Memory space means even before a single line of JavaScript file got executed, memory will be created for all the variables and functions, and variables will be assigned with a default value called undefined. Okay. In the code of execution phase, the line by line code of JavaScript file will be keep on executing. This is known as execution context. Okay. How many data types are there in JavaScript?
Two types,
Okay. What are they?
cumulative and non-cumulative.
Primitive and non-primitive.
And non-primitive.
Okay. What are primitive data types? Primitive means simple types. What are the simple types?
String, numbers,
Okay, strings, numbers, and
Words.
what is true or false? What are the type of true or false?
Waltons and
Boolean. Okay,
Boolean.
Boolean. What are primitive data types?
Forms and
What are primitive data types?
cumulative types are like
Primitive.
numbers, strings, and
Numbers,
strings.
strings, and booleans. Okay. What are non-primitive data types? Arrays and objects. Okay. Just watch the video right after this class. I will upload the video. Okay. Suppose if I have a number plus a string, what will be the output?
String.
String. If I have number plus string, what will be the output?
String.
What is the difference between the var, let, and const?
For var we have like one value before the execution only, but for let and const we didn't have any execution before.
Whenever we create any variable with the keyword var, it is getting attached to global memory. Okay. Whereas if we create a variable using let or const keywords, they will be allocated a different memory space. Okay. And you can access a var variable even before you are declaring it. Okay. And it will give you the value of undefined. Suppose if you are accessing the value of let and const variable, even before you are declaring, you will get an error stating reference error. You cannot access the variable before initialization. This is because of temporal dead zone. Okay. Until the value it is assigned with memory space is created, I mean a declaration is done, you cannot access the let and const. And if you see about what's the difference between let and const is that whenever you are creating any variable with the keyword const, you need to assign the value then and there itself. Otherwise, you will get an error, and you cannot reassign a value to a const variable. Any doubts, anyone?
Uh,
Okay. Just that's it for today's class. Okay, I will just upload this video in 10 minutes. Okay, please be sure with this concept. If you are not comfortable here itself, you will not learn anything in the future coming classes. Okay, just watch these videos in 2 to 3 times. Okay, I'll ask the questions tomorrow. Just practice it. Whatever I am doing here, just practice it in your Visual Studio Code and try to run it. And still, if you are facing any issues, you are feel free to ping me in WhatsApp. I'll be helping you. But I understand that you people are not from IT background, so please pay attention. Watch 2 to 3 times. Okay, and come back tomorrow. I'll ask the same questions. You need to able to explain the concept properly. Okay, any doubts, anyone?
No.
Within 10 minutes, I will upload this video. Just watch it 3 to 4 times or how many times you want, but you need to people explain me properly in the tomorrow's class. Okay. Is fine? You'll watch it
Okay.
and come, right? If you are not
Yes.
understanding, it will be difficult for you if you go to companies. It will be like Greek and Latin, and if you start learning by then, it will take 1 to 2 years for you to learn completely, because you will be facing that much of stress in the organizations. So learn now itself. Okay, and then get placed, understand the things. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
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 Yeah, I'll just upload this video. Bye.